So as I said at the beginning of today's shiur, in another few days is Chag Shavuos, and the beginning of the week is already Shloshis Yemei HaGabola. And many times before Shloshis Yemei HaGabola, I quote the Orach Chaim in Parshas Yisroi. The Orach Chaim says in Parshas Yisroi that there's a posuk which is a remes to the three most important Yesodis in Kinyan Torah. V'yisu merafidim, v'yachanu b'midbar, v'yachan sham Yisrael neged ha'ar. Says the Orach Chaim, number one is v'yisu merafidim. How do Chazal interpret the word refidim? B'malchemes HaMolech, the posuk says, v'yalochem im Yisrael b'refidim. And the Gemara in Sanhedrin says, refidim is rofu yedeim medivrei Torah. There was a lack of Yegiyas Torah, of Omer. And that is what gave Amalek the koyach, the power to fight Israel. Orach Chaim says the same, v'yisu merafidim. You need to go away from rifin yadayim. Ein at Torah niknes elo ba'omer. Kachi darka shel Torah. Pas b'melech toichal mayim b'mesurat tishta l'oretz tishan. And many times I said, pas b'melech is a relative concept. Every generation has its own pas b'melech. So on the way up to the shiur today, the Bochum asked me whether I want to see how Sudas Rosh Chodesh is in Yeshiva's Torah's Chaim. I just peeked into the kitchen, and I think I saw somewhat more than pas b'melech. So pas b'melech is a relative concept. And I think in our generation, between the pas and the melech, you could have some butter, some cheese, some tuna spread, or some vegetables as well. It still would be considered pas b'melech. Mayim b'mesurat tishta, here and then you could have some orange juice, maybe Coke, Shabbos v'Yom Tov, a shluk of whiskey. It still would be considered mayim b'mesurat tishta. I said Shabbos and Yom Tov. I am extremely disturbed by the knowledge that yeshiva boys like to drink alcohol. When I was a yeshiva bocher, wouldn't even occur to us to drink at a chasen or at a simcha. Jews always knew that we have yayin lekedusha v'avdalta, and Purim, goes without saying. So mayim b'mesurat tishta is also relative. What is not relative is ubetorah ato omer ve'im ato oiseh kein ashrecho b'yolam hazeh v'tov lecho liyolam habo. So number one, writes the Orach Chaim, v'yisu merafidim. You can't achieve greatness in Torah only with toil, only if you work hard, only with yegiyah. V'yachanu b'midbar. The pshat of the Chaim is Memidbar metona. Kivin shemesi odam atzmo kemidbar oleo haTorah nitenet lo b'metona. That's a Gemara in Erev and Nun Daled, and once again in Nedorim Nun Hey. And that is a remes for anova. So this planet, this world, has many types of topography. We have the Great Plains in America. We have the rainforests on the equator. We have the African jungles. And we have the African savanna. And we have the desert. The desert does not sustain life. It's the poorest of all the different types of topography. So v'yachanu b'midbar is a remes for anova. The desert has nothing to offer. Nothing to offer. No ilan, no amas hamayim. The desert, Eretz Tzion v'tzalmoves. So that's a remes for anova. And like the Gemara says in Tanas Dav Zayin, Torah nimshel al hamayim. Mayim manichum mokum gavoya v'yodem l'mokum namoch. Ein divrei Torah meskaymen elo b'mi shedato yishfelo. And finally, vayichen sham Yisrael ki yishecho do b'levecho. That is dibuk chaverim b'pilpul hatalmidim. So these are the three fundamentals. Rab Chanina says, Haba lamadati meraboisai, mechavera yoisa mehem, umetalmida yoisa mekelam, and that is all what a yeshiva is about. What is the yeshiva about? Everybody is chai b'talmud Torah, and you could learn on your own. You could learn on your own. The yeshiva is about the combination of Haba lamadati meraboisai, mechavera yoisa mehem, umetalmida yoisa mekelam, the interaction of a Rebbe and his Talmidim. That is essential, that is fundamental, and that is the way we achieve greatness in Torah. Who said that? We find that several times in Shas. Rav Chanina bar Choma. And in one source it's Rebbe. So I have a feeling, when Rabbeinu HaKodesh passes away, he says, Shimon beni Chacham. That's the Gemara in Ksubas Kov Gimel. Gamliel beni Nosi. Chanina bar Choma Yeshiv Barash. In the Medrash, we learned that Rebbe had 3 children, not 2. His third son was named Yavetz. And he says, Shimon beni, he's going to be the leader. He's the Chacham. Gamliel will be the Nosi. Who's going to be the Rosh Yeshiva? Stranger, not one of his family. One of his great Talmidim, Chanina bar Choma Yeshiv Barash. And then there's an amazing story that Chanina bar Choma says, no, because Rav Office is 2.5 years older than me. He deserves it. So that's a separate shmuz. And I say, why did Rebbe, of all his many Talmidim, choose Rav Chanina to be the Rosh Yeshiva? Because Rav Chanina is the one that said, teachers of Torah must appreciate their Talmidim. And if Rav Chanina said, I learned more from my Talmidim than from anywhere else, from anyone else, Rabbi says, you got to be the Rosh Yeshiva. Rosh Yeshiva should appreciate how much they gain and benefit from their Talmidim. So let me tell you, I benefit a great deal from my Talmidim, because every time I give a shir and there are interesting ha'oras, sometimes these Talmidim as well, but not enough. I want you to be more involved. But that is v'yechan sham yison neged ahar b'dibuk chaverim b'pilpil ha'talmidim v'libi yoimeli. The Rechaim doesn't say it, but that is keneged shloishes yemei hagabola, the last 3 days before Shavuos. One is v'yisu merafidim. Invest all your energies, all your koyach in Talmud Torah, learn Basmoda. Number 2 is Midas Toivos, primarily Midas Anova. Number 3 is take advantage of the yeshiva, of your rabbeim, of your chaverim, of your talmidim, and that is the way to grow in Torah. So my bracha to all of you, the Yom Chag Shavuos, in this magnificent day, we should all be makabel all Torah and all Malchus Shamayim b'Yahavo. And we should be zoiche b'schus Talmud Torah. שהקודש ברוך ירחם על עמו, מי שאומר לעולם ידע, יום לצורתנו די. And this terrible war should be over, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should only give us days of nachas and simcha, and Yeshuas and Achamos, v'nezke lerot pnei Moshiach tzidkenu b'meiru v'yomeinu. Amen.